Hello there! Welcome to Star Wars Warts and All, a podcast where we talk about all the things we love about Star Wars, warts and all. My name is Will. Joining me again are my good friends, Ben.
Hello.
Bill.
Hi.
And Chris.
What?
Oh, sounds like Chris is in the middle of something. Maybe we should...
I didn't think of anything ahead of time. It's supposed to be C-3PO in one of his, frightened
3PO.
moments. When
We're doomed.
the Mynock comes on, the Falcon.
I'm kicking myself. I should have thought of like spooky names when I introduced you guys.
Oh, like a Simpsons episode where they put the
Yeah, like I don't even know.
bat graining instead of Matt.
Yeah. Right. Well, it didn't happen. Coulda,
No.
woulda, shoulda. We need to keep the quality of this podcast as low as possible, so planning ahead.
Mission accomplished. Yeah.
Hey, that's my thing at the end, is to make fun of us.
Tonight we're going
To the dark side?
straight to the dark.
Oh, okay.
Because we're going to talk about the spooky side of Star Wars.
Yeah. It's not really a change from the rest of the month, because it's
No.
October, so.
Yeah, so last week I droned on and on about a book called Death Troopers.
And today we're gonna do the prequel. Strap in.
If anyone made it through that entire episode, I commend you.
We're kidding. Keep listening, please.
Yeah. But so the idea was, Death Troopers I reread because in my mind that was like the pinnacle of spooky Star Wars, like the scariest of all Star Wars books or material of any kind. So tonight what we'll do is just kind of go through a list of, I guess, Halloween recommendations. If you want to get your Star Wars fix and your Halloween fix at the same time, here's some places to go. Here's some things to look for, I guess. That's what we're going for.
Number one, the holiday special. Is that?
Yes.
Meant to be watched in October. Little did anyone know. It's quite scary.
Well, why don't we start with the movies? Because initially I was thinking we could talk about like just scary Star Wars moments, but frankly, I couldn't come up with that many. I don't know if you guys. It's just.
You mean from
It's not like
from the
Nothing.
movies?
Nothing
or-
truly
Yeah,
scary.
from the
no.
movies, right? It has like Star Wars pulls from all genres, so it has moments of kind
Sure.
of spookiness. Or horror.
Yeah,
But ultimately, they're family-friendly movies, so they're not going to be
there's
anything
Right.
to scare children outright.
They should.
There's one moment in particular that I feel like is probably the scariest moment, and we'll get
What's that?
to that.
Well, no, let's start with that.
All right, I think it's the Rogue One Vader corridor scene, like the sheer terror that that they make you feel with the camera angle. It's just inevitability coming towards you and just chopping people down.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it starts with just like darkness, and then you hear breathing, and then the lightsaber ignites, and you're like, "This is where I die."
It's not getting out of this one. I think the only reason I don't consider that to be scary is because of how awesome it
Well,
is.
yeah,
True. That, and you know that it ends okay in the long run. You know that they do
yeah.
succeed in getting the plans over. So it's not like, oh my god, are they gonna do it? Are they gonna make it?
I think it would have been
At the end of the day.
scarier, and this is how I thought the movie was going to end initially. If those guys getting mowed down by Vader were the heroes that we
That's what I
grew
thought,
to
too.
love over 2 hours, if he was he was hunting them down,
Yeah, I guess.
that would
Sure.
have been a little,
Right.
And you know what? That whole scene reminded me of like the serial killer slasher kind of genre with like Mike Myers and Jason and stuff. Just this imposing force, just like unstoppable, walking down a corridor, just killing people with a blade. Not so
Right.
much scary as much as like like that genre.
It's
But-
death. It's inevitable death heading towards.
Right.
I think that's
Without
think
the
it's
hour and
scary.
a half of build up
Scary
ahead of
about
time.
right.
I mean, I don't know about you, Bill, but I'm never going to die, so that doesn't scare me at all.
Well, when you're faced with it directly, it's Darth
like
Vader.
moments away.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the scariest moment in the Star Wars movies had to come from the last one, when Rey's
I kind of agree with you.
Looking for the what was it? The Wayfinder?
Yeah, the Sith Wayfinder for.
And she's like in that
OG
room in the destroyed Death Star, and she sees like Darkseid Rey, who has these like sharp shark teeth.
Yeah,
Right.
It's just like this jump scare that happens.
It is there's a good jump scare there until you realize that it's just a hotter Rey, and then you kind of settle down. So I can go with this. All right, we're okay.
Sharp
We're
teeth.
okay.
Okay. I think the reason. So I mostly agree. I think the reason I didn't think that was the scariest was because they showed it in the trailer, and so
Right.
I kind of saw it like, I don't know. You lose a little bit of the jump scare when you know it's coming, I guess.
I think the scariest thing about that movie is just all of Palpatine and Exegol.
Yeah, he's
and
pretty.
And
the
general,
lightning,
the lighting,
like
the sound,
creepy lightning
design,
sound,
everything. Everything is just
really well done.
Oh yeah, that's true.
His like fingers are missing skin.
When I watched that
Down to the
movie for the first time, those were the scenes that were like, I don't know if my kids are going to be able to get through this because it's just like it's creepy.
Mine certainly would not.
The only other movie that really popped up, and I think it might be the darkest in tone, is Empire Strikes Back.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think just from that, you have like Luke in the dark side cave is really kind of creepy.
Yeah,
and
I remember being freaked out about that when I was a kid.
Yeah, the music and
it's
the
just like it's
atmosphere.
confusing.
Yeah.
And the slow frame rate and just like it was his face in the helmet all along, and it's just it's so
forget
it
too.
messes with your mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And don't forget too, in Empire Strikes Back, you have an even better jump scare when they're inside the space slug. And the Minoc just slaps itself down on the windshield.
That was my intro. That was it. Yeah.
There was a couple.
Yeah.
There was a couple in that one too, because when Luke is out there on the Tauntaun, when the Wampa just like pops up and like claws at him.
That's true.
And that's always terrifying because you get the cry of the Tauntaun and just this giant monster that's attacking. I think that. Yeah, there we go. And that whole scene with Luke being held upside down and he's trying to get to his lightsaber and this thing just sees him and slowly starts walking towards him. Always unnerving and horrifying.
Yeah. We should have mentioned this when Bill brought up the Rogue One hallway scene. But somebody put in the notes here, which is a good point, from Jedi Fallen Order. The end, I guess it's in the last level when Vader hunts you down.
That's a good point. It is very reminiscent of Rogue One, of the Rogue One thing. It's actually probably scarier because
you're in it.
You're in it, and it's like, speaking of inevitable death, like especially for someone like me who is bad at playing that game, like there's no way I'm coming out of this fight. Like I had trouble with the Inquisitors, like
right.
And then all of a sudden he's just there and he's just coming after you. And like I think you get away a little bit and then he shows up again and then the whole underwater tube thing where
Yeah. And part of what helps with that too is the game follows a brand new character, so he could have just been killed. Like you don't even know. Like the game could have just ended with him somehow.
It doesn't have that plot armor really at the end of the game. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, couple other honorable mentions, I guess, before we get into the real nitty-gritty here. Just as far as moments, the Mandalorian also has a few, I would say, scary or spooky or, I don't know, haunting moments. The first one that I thought of was from the first season, the episode called The Prisoner with Bill Burr's debut.
Yeah.
When
jeez. Yeah, go ahead.
When they break out that Twi'lek guy, and they try to leave Mando for dead. And then afterwards, he like shuts off the lights, and they're like blinking, and everything's kind of like got this red tint, and he's basically hunting them like some kind of monster on the ship. It definitely had like a horror kind of vibe for me, especially the scene with Mayfeld with Bill Burr when he's like you see like the strobe flashing, and Mando like gets closer with each flash, and then he's on top of him.
He's like, doesn't he like scream out no or something too.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
The only thing, but it's not really scary because that's the hero doing it, so
Yeah,
it doesn't.
it's more of a awesomeness thing.
Right, yeah.
Like,
but it gives you that vibe of,
right.
Yeah.
The strobe light really is what does it.
But going into season 2 of The Mandalorian, the spider cave is definitely terrifying.
Yeah, that'll give you the heebie-jeebies.
Do you know what the scariest part of that whole sequence is for me? Was the music.
Yeah.
It was so creepy. Like the whole thing leading up to the spiders coming down. That
Which
part of it
episode
was.
is this?
This is episode
Episode
season
two of
2,
season
episode.
What's
yeah,
that called?
2.
Is it
Yeah.
the passenger? No. What I think it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the passenger?
It is.
Well, I guess it's chapter
The one with
10.
the one with the frog lady.
Yeah, he
Right.
crashes
Yeah.
with the frog
Yeah.
lady, and they're stuck in that frozen ice cave until Grogu starts eating spider eggs and awakens the entire
This
like
one.
brood. Yeah, I would agree that the music is phenomenal. No arguments here.
Surprise, surprise.
All right, let's get into the real stuff here, though. So this is by no means comprehensive list. We probably missed a whole bunch of stuff, but we kind of just top of the dome threw off episodes from Clone Wars and Rebels, mostly Clone Wars, that really capture that kind of like horror vibe. Now they're kids shows, so they can only go so far. You know, you're not going to be getting anything like real, not Death Trooper levels.
Right.
Of
It's mostly
violence
just
and gore.
homages to past
Right. Yeah.
films and whatnot.
I don't know. Who wants to start off here? I haven't watched many of these in a long time. I don't know if
I
anybody
was
has more.
I was
I just
checking
did
out
some-
some of them last night because I distinctly remember the zombie Geonosians episodes, which I originally thought was actually in Rebels, but it's not. There's a whole arc in
I
Clone Wars.
really love that arc.
Season 2, episode 7.
Yes, that's where it starts with Legacy of Terror.
Yeah.
It's like the next part of the arc. Like there's a whole Geonosian arc that starts before that.
Yeah, that's a great arc where they like land on Geonosis for the second battle of Geonosis. It's a really
Yeah.
cool. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think it might actually go for like 6 episodes overall because it just spans
Possibly
so
because
much.
it's like it's kind of two arcs, I guess, because there's
Yeah,
a
that
whole
blend
taking
together.
back Geonosis, and then this whole thing with the Geonosian queen and her eggs with the parasitic worms in it that basically mind control
Anybody. Literally
anything.
anybody, including
Yeah.
the Jedi, which was terrifying. There's
Anytime
one
there's
scene,
a worm that crawls through your nose and gets to your brain, that'll freak you out.
Yeah,
the one scene that sticks with me with that one is, I think it's Barriss that has the worm in her
Right.
brain or whatever, and she's like attacking Ahsoka, and she like screams, and the worm like comes out of her mouth.
So that's the next episode. So there's 2 of these like zombie episodes. The first one is season 2, episode 7, Legacy of Terror, where you learn about the queen and the hive mind and the parasites, and they're like trying to get away from the zombie Geonosians. And then that ends with one of the clones sleeping somewhere,
Right.
and a parasite is in an egg nearby. It cracks open and goes into his nose while he's sleeping.
Right. So they actually leave the planet with it, right?
Yeah, and so they're on their ship with Ahsoka and Barriss. Yeah, and season 2, episode 8, Brain Invaders, and then you have zombie clones.
I'll have to rewatch that one, I think.
I'd be curious to see when these episodes were aired originally. If they were like around October, just to get that vibe.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
know
Yeah.
what? I had the same thought because when you talk about like a sitcom or something, like
Oh,
Roseanne always had their
Absolutely.
because
You
if it
lose
aired
that
during
when
October,
in the streaming era because
Yeah.
who knows when it
because how cool would it be to get a dedicated episode of The Mandalorian that was like the Halloween episode? It would
Right.
just be, I don't know, it'd be fun. But this is the closest we could get, I guess.
Yeah.
There's also the episode in season 1. I saw somebody put on The Lair of Grievous. So that's season 1, episode 10. That's where they they find like Grievous's hideout basically, and it has that Mon Calamari Padawan, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but it's very much just like falling into Grievous's trap, and he is playing with them and hunting them. It's very much just like that serial killer kind of horror story.
And the pet that Grievous had, was it Gore? That thing was terrifying. The giant, they're called rogwarts. They're like these giant bipedal creatures. They look like a cross between a Rancor and a T-Rex, but Grievous has altered his to have like an axe for a tail and like this armor plating. Go back and watch it, because that thing is terrifying.
I don't remember this Voyage of Temptation.
Yeah, so this is part of the arc with Obi-Wan. So it's Voyage of Temptation, Season 2, Episode 13. There's a whole arc with the Mandalore plot and Obi-Wan and Satine, the Duchess of Mandalore.
Right. Oh, are they? Is it like assassin droids or something?
Yeah, so there's these assassin like spider droids that are on the ship when they're on their way somewhere. I can't remember the exact plot, but I do remember it being like A, it's spiders, and B, there's a whole scene in a cargo bay where clone troopers are just being disappeared by this spider assassin thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so it just kind of had that like creepy vibe to it.
Right, because Clone Wars, I mean, even though it is a cartoon, Clone Wars is good for. I mean, they weren't afraid to show clones getting killed.
Right.
That was something.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's war. It's supposed to be.
Right.
And they were just clones.
Fodder.
Yeah.
Faceless, nameless.
They're meant to be expendable, right, Chris? Mm-hmm. You monster.
Not to me.
All right, also in Season 2, there's that Zillo Beast episode, which I guess kind of fits, because it's definitely a Godzilla homage.
100%.
Although Godzilla's not very Halloween, though. I don't know.
Well, it's still a
summer
giant
blockbuster.
It's still a giant monster, that you feel bad for it the whole entire time. But then it goes to Coruscant, and it's got some pretty creepy moments, but it's definitely a Godzilla, almost like a Godzilla and King Kong montage, but
yeah, they're just going for the kaiju homage, I guess.
right.
But after that, I didn't realize, actually, immediately after that, in episode 19 of Season 2.
These are all Season 2. Jeez, wow.
Well,
Okay.
maybe we just didn't go deep enough, but...
I mean, there's so many Clone Wars episodes.
I know.
Like,
in Season 2, episodes 19, 20, and 21, there's a whole arc about the Night Sisters of Dathomir, which are basically...
which are literal witches.
They're witches, yeah. They're Star Wars witches, so totally fits the bill. Anything involving them, really. Actually, going back to Jedi Fallen Order, there's a level on Dathomir which is pretty freaky, just because the planet itself is spooky, and because the game is so hard that it's just scary trying to survive there.
Yeah.
And that actually goes into Season 4, Episode 19, The Massacre of Clone Wars, where the Night Sisters resurrect the dead.
Right. They
have like a zombie Night Sisters
army to defend themselves against.
Terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
They're just like
I remember
growling and animalistic, jumping on droids and ripping them apart.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of this.
These are definitely good ones for this time of year, I would say.
Yeah.
Right up.
So now I need to I'm going to rewatch The Legacy of Terror, Brain Invaders, and then rewatch the Night Sister stuff.
Yeah. Because Night Sisters will come up in a very soon episode.
Yes, that's true.
By the way.
Okay.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
Hint,
All
hint.
right. More on Night Sisters.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, there's more Night Sisters actually in Rebels,
That's true.
the follow-up to Clone Wars. So Season 2, Episode 17, it's called The Honorable Ones. That's the one where
This was a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
stuck in a cave, and there's monsters kind of out there that they need to like stay by the light, or no, something like that, right? They
Isn't it spiders again, though?
No, that's later.
Yeah,
That's a
no,
different one.
these were like...
This one was a bit of a stretch. I was trying to look up more Rebel stuff, and I was having trouble finding... Like, Clone Wars was definitely better for spooky stuff,
Yeah.
if you want to...
Yeah, Rebels was more focused on the story, I think.
Yeah.
Rather than just going out and doing weird stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
It was just more like
didn't stray as much from the main
following the.
They didn't have as many to do that kind of thing where they explore different genres, basically.
Right.
So,
but we do have, as we alluded to, at the end of or toward the end of season 2, episode 20, The Mystery of Chopper Base. It's called. That's where they land on that planet. I can't remember the name of the planet. Oh my god.
Adelon.
Adelon. That's it. I think you're right.
nice.
But yeah, there's those creepy spiders on that planet that.
Which are the same spiders that are in The Mandalorian, apparently.
Actually, they're not. They're different. They're a different species.
They look similar.
I thought they were.
They might be related or something, but if you look them up on Wikipedia, they are different species. But
so they are different.
Well,
so I guess soon after the Mandalorian episode came out, everybody was saying they were the same.
Yeah, they look the same.
Of course they were.
Because the reason they look the same.
Big uproar.
Fun trivia tidbit. The reason they look the same is because they're based on early concept art by Ralph McQuarrie for The Empire Strikes Back.
That's right. Sure. Yeah.
So they love tapping that vein of unused McQuarrie stuff, which is awesome. I love that. I'm not faulting them for that.
Mm-hmm.
Was that in the gallery? Did they mention that in the gallery?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was Mystery of Chopper Base from season 2, and I actually just rewatched this because I couldn't remember it when it popped up, and this might be relevant for next week as well. A little episode from season 3, episode 11, called Visions and Voices, and this is one where Ezra is mentally connected with Darth Maul, and he's like having visions of Maul, and even that in itself is pretty creepy. Maul's like in his head. And then Maul basically tells him that they need to go to Dathomir, scary place, and do a Night Sister like spell or ritual, which incurs the wrath of the spirits of the Night Sisters who actually like possess Kanan and Sabine, and it's a whole
I'm remembering this now.
A whole like demonic possession sort of thing going on.
This is basically when they get the Darksaber, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So there's some good ones there. It's not. I mean, if you really want horror, you got to go outside of Star Wars. But this is as close as you can get.
Essentially.
Right.
And it's like kid-friendly horror, so that's always good.
Yeah, or get away from like the Rebels or Clone Wars, and you could go to the comics for a lot of the horror. I've noticed that there's some comic books that have come out that are canon that have some pretty big horror elements in it.
Well, the Star Wars Adventures line of comics since 2018 has been doing an annual Vader's Castle through the month of October. They release these Vader's Castle books. We might have mentioned them before, actually. We must have, right?
Maybe briefly.
I think
don't
so.
Remember.
So it started with Tales from Vader's Castle, and then the next year is Return to Vader's Castle, and then Shadow of Vader's Castle, which was, I think it was shorter than the others because it was COVID year.
It was just a one shot.
Yeah, so it was just a one shot. And then Ghosts of Vader's Castle is wrapping up this year. And they're cool. They're fun. But
basically,
go ahead. Yeah.
Basically, the Terrifying Tales, the Lego one, was basically a screen version of a Vader's Castle comic.
Okay, I was going to ask that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Because I didn't realize the dude that Tony Hale does the voice of, Vinay or whatever.
He's the guy in Rogue One who greets Krennic when he comes to Mustafar.
Right,
yeah.
and
it's actually him.
Doing the voice. Vinay.
No.
But he's playing
Buster
the
Bluth
character
from Arrested Development, but that's the character.
yeah.
Forky. Or Forky from Toy Story 4.
Forky.
Sorry for.
Yeah, that's right.
But he's also kind of like the narrator, like the through line for the Vader's Castle series of comics too. It's him. So he's become like synonymous with Mustafar, Vader's Castle, and Star Wars Halloween, I guess. That's it.
Okay.
So really, like these comics are probably the most legit Halloween thing that they release, at least on a regular basis, because they totally just like retell or reimagine horror stories. Like there's a really cool one in the first, the Tales from Vader's Castle from 2018, where it takes place during the Clone Wars, and Count Dooku is on a planet where there's like these giant bat creatures, very vampiric, and he gets infected by a vampire. Which is awesome because Christopher Lee famously was Count Dracula before he was Count Dooku.
Oh, that's right.
So it's like a little bit of a crossover there. And in the second series, there's a weird story where there's like some kind of crazy alien Frankenstein monster that Tarkin was responsible for creating. So Tarkin is like, Star Wars is Dr. Frankenstein, basically.
Nice.
There's one that is like The Wicker Man, but with Ewoks.
Oh, I don't think I read that one yet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah.
I did. I did read that one. Yes. Yeah. Anything with Ewoks is creepy because Ewoks eat people.
We cannot.
That cannot be understated.
Yeah, that's true.
They eat
That's
people.
a good point.
And I was thinking about this. This is a tangent, but is that cannibalism? How do you define cannibalism?
No, it's if you
Species
eat your
eat
own species. Yeah.
Different species, right?
So, like a human,
Different species.
If
It's just carnivorous.
so I could eat a Twi'lek, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Oh my god,
That
you're sick.
seems
You're disgusting.
wrong, though, in so many ways.
Ronto roasters.
That's a Ronto.
I think it's
Are you
cannibalism.
sure?
If it's sentient, it's cannibalism. If it can speak a language, you shouldn't be eating it. I'm sorry.
I don't know. You have to consult the
I mean, I
Latin
can get behind
textbooks
that.
for that one.
I can get
Humanoid.
behind that.
Okay.
It's
all
just
right.
it's weird
If
at
it's
that point.
humanoid, you probably shouldn't be eating it.
That's true. If it walks on two legs and it speaks a language, it's like, oh, this thing's talking. Wait a minute, it's walking on four legs. Fair game.
Yeah.
Dinner's on. Let's go.
Well, so I've always thought that with it must be Mandalorian, where they're showing the scene where there's one of those salacious crumb looking alien things,
Yes.
and he's like watching the other one get cooked, and I'm like, wait, isn't that thing sentient? That's kind of messed up.
You should have a problem with this. What do you?
Yeah,
all they do is laugh. How do you know it's emotions?
That's true.
I don't. Well, I mean, that should be good enough. I don't know.
In the legend story was the Tales of Mos Eisley that Wur took Greedo's body and ground him up for drinks.
Oh my god. What?
And people wonder why these books are no longer canon.
Yeah. Speaking of books, hey, there's a segue for you.
There's a segue.
So I talked about Death Troopers last week, but just in case you missed it, so it starts off on this.
No,
And
we're
boring
done.
Strap in, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
And then there's also the prequel book Red Harvest by the same author. But those are legends. And there's also, Ben mentioned last week, the Galaxy of Fear series, which is also legends because those were released in the 90s, I think. I never read. Did you read those, Ben, when you were a kid?
Yeah, I did. I specifically remember reading a couple. One was like Eaten Alive, about a planet that was eating people.
Oh.
And
The planet itself.
yeah, people were disappearing, and they were trying to figure out what it was, and they came to this giant like hole in the planet, and they were like, "Oh, we throw somebody down there to appease the whatever," and it ended up being that the planet was absorbing people that were being thrown down there, and it was causing earthquakes and stuff if it didn't continue to consume people. It ended up being that
That's weird.
the main character survived because Han Solo showed up with the Millennium Falcon at
Yeah.
some
Oh God! Of course he did.
Of course.
and he was like, "You need
Always
help?
gotta
Let's
be
get
one.
out of here." And they got out. So,
I heard there's something spooky going on here.
pretty much.
Did I tell you about the time that I was on the prison ship with all the zombie stormtroopers?
That's the Deus Ex Machina of Star Wars, is Han Solo just appearing out of nowhere. And being
there's
like,
a
"Let's
great-
go."
So one of the from the newest Vader's Castle. I just have to mention this because it was hilarious. It stars the anthropomorphic rabbit Jackson, that green rabbit guy.
Yep.
And he's on Kashyyyk. Whatever happens, the Wookiees have some kind of berry that makes them grow to enormous size. So Chewbacca grows to the size of like King Kong, basically. And I think the name of the story is Attack of the 50-Foot Wookiee.
Okay.
So then, in order to combat this, Jackson eats a similar berry and grows to an enormous size, and then they have a little
it's
tussle.
just a
But then in the end,
kaiju battle.
and then in the end, to get even or something, Han Solo
Oh,
grows
no.
to enormous size.
I am reading that tonight.
So I don't think it's canon, but it's just funny.
I should hope
You don't
not.
know. You don't know that. It could possibly be.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the Lando series to
Delve into
bring
all
that
this
up.
stuff, yeah.
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 Calrissian Chronicles, Chapter 5. My friend just grew to enormous size.
And apparently, Lando's being played by William Shatner.
All right, let's finish this here. So, okay, this is for next year, I think. There's a book, an anthology book of short stories called Dark Legends, which is like dark side tales, and it's in the same vein as that Myths and Fables book. With all of those just like short stories. It's in canon. It's scary stuff, apparently. I haven't read any of it, but I think we should look into that. I wish I had seen it sooner.
There's gonna be some more stuff coming out soon too. The book about the Sith is coming out soon.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think that's out as of now.
Is it out?
Yeah, October 1st, I think it came out. It's like the Journals of Palpatine, where he talks about the Sith.
Yeah, so that might be pretty spooky.
Dark, at least.
Anything with the Sith.
Yeah. Yeah, Dark Legends, and then somebody put in here the end of
I put the
Storm.
end of Rising Storm because of the whole spoilers coming up here.
Yeah, this is the High Republic, going way back to the High Republic era.
Yeah, the turning to dust of
whatever that creature that gets unleashed, it is very like H.P. Lovecraft kind of, not well described, very kind of just horrific and terrifying to the Jedi.
It's definitely a creature very reminiscent from the legends of
right.
Knights of the Old Republic.
What was it called?
Terrantech. It's
Terrantech. I remember the name of that from Knights of the Old Republic at some point, but I don't remember that much about it.
Yeah, it's just a massive beast that consumes the Force energy from people and turns them into dust, and then most of the time just eats them. It eats Jedi, Sith alike. Whatever has the Force, it's going to eat it.
Right, but Marchion Ro has something that can control it, apparently.
Right.
Well, as of this recording, one of the comics, High Republic number 10, just came out, and they're dealing with that now.
Oh.
You don't see the thing, but you see another effect of it.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get more information soon.
Is that immediately after Rising Storm?
It's set a little bit after it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not immediately, but a little bit after.
That's how I found out about it. I was like,
we're not going to have to wait until the next book comes out to find more information. It's coming.
Good.
Well, and I wrote the end of that because that was pretty terrifying. But there's also the whole parts in the comics and whichever other book it was with the Drengir, and that's kind of pretty creepy. And the like abandoned space station where
just
they
like
came
a monster infestation sort of thing.
It's all been a big disaster movie.
Yeah,
that whole thing,
aliens,
more or less.
Sort of
that thing
inspired.
is 100% aliens. Like they were just stringing people up and like coating them in some kind of goo and sticking them to the side of things. In the comic, as I was reading the comics, I was like, "Am I reading Star Wars or am I reading Aliens? What is happening here?"
Yeah. So.
All right, last one on our list. I added at the last minute because I don't know how I forgot this.
This is a good one.
Are You Scared, Darth Vader? Which is a children's picture book, but it is possibly it's on my top 10 list of Star Wars books. I think
it's good.
It's so fun. It's just it's funny. It's like one of those books like Don't Let the Pigeon Ride the Bus or whatever, where like the reader is kind of participating in the thing and like talking to. The premise is there's these monsters that are trying to scare Darth Vader. They keep asking him, "Are you scared of this mummy? Are you scared of this vampire?" And it's just hilarious because Darth Vader's reactions are so deadpan and funny. It's great. Highly recommend Are You Scared, Darth Vader?
My wife is a school teacher and had to do a book reading, and she chose this one and had to do it like where she read it. But she had me do all the Darth Vader parts.
Yeah, I did that last year. I did a mystery reader call for my daughter's elementary school, and I chose this book because I think it must have been in October. Even if it wasn't, I probably would have read it. But
it's a good one. Go read it.
Yeah, the best line. I'll just spoil this one. One of the monsters is a witch, and they say, "Are you scared, Darth Vader? She could cast a spell on you. She could curse you." And then Darth Vader's reaction is, "I am already cursed."
Already cursed. But isn't he like hanging his head when he says it too?
Yeah.
It's a great book.
Oh man,
It's so good.
And it's canon.
No, it's not.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
okay,
just saying.
Boring conversation anyway.
Forgot to do a throw social media in halfway through kind of thing.
Oh.
well, let's do it right now. WORRTS, warts and all, is where you'd go to talk to us.
Let us know if we missed anything. We probably
Yeah,
missed many
what's-
things, actually.
Yeah,
Now with slightly more
do it.
tweets.
favorite spooky episode or comic. Hit us up at wartsandall@gmail.com or write a comment on one of our Instagram posts or on one of our Twitter tweets.
Just let us know that you're out there and that you're safe. And join us next time as we talk about something.
Just tattoo your face red and black.
Don't do that. That's a bad decision.
It's
Don't
just
tell
a hint.
don't tell people to
Just
tattoo
a tease
themselves.
for next week.
Super glue horns to your head.
Also a
don't
bad
do-
idea.
But how
We are
many
not-
horns?
We
Is
are
it
Right,
not-
you should use Gorilla Glue.
Is it a
are
Deveronian? I don't know. What's he talking
Yeah,
about?
sure.
We are not condoning any of that. If you do that, you cannot sue us.
Chop your body in half.
Thanks for listening. Fear is my ally.
Oh, that's good.
That was good. That was good.
Please
that O-
subscribe.
Was that
Yeah,
OG
is
that-
Mall?
Jabba?
It's no. Actually, I don't know.